Hey middle schoolers, welcome back to our science video. Last week we were talking about dish soap and different effects that it can have on some of our science experiments. And this week we're going to continue our discussion about dish soap, and we're going to have it interact with some different substances and see how it plays out. So for our experiment we will need some materials. We will need dish soap, so we have that. We will also need a paper plate. We will need some milk. It's important that the milk is whole milk because it has the most fat in it, so it can't be like low fat or 2%, it has to be whole milk. We also will need some food coloring, and last but not least, we'll need some Q-tips. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to open our milk and pour it into the paper plate, just so it covers the surface of the plate. We don't need a whole lot. So just like that. Okay, I think you guys can see it on the screen. Yeah. Okay, next what we're going to do is we're going to take our food coloring, and I have 3 colors here. As long as you use more than one color, that should be fine, but we want to make sure that we're using a few different colors just so you can see the full effects of the experiment. So I'm just going to take a color and put a few drops of it in the milk. Doesn't matter where, just put them anywhere. So green, I'll do a few blue, and then I also have yellow. Okay, cool. So next what I'm going to do, and this is going to be the fun part, I'm going to take a Q-tip, and I'm just going to put a dot of our dish soap onto it, and then we are going to touch the Q-tip and soap to the milk, and we're going to watch what happens. Okay, ready? Do you guys see that? Super cool. And you can keep moving the Q-tip around and kind of see what kind of patterns and designs you can make with the colors. So the reason for that happening is because, like I mentioned previously, whole milk has a lot of fat in it. So because of that fat content, the soap wanted to break the fat down, which is what soap's job is. When we wash our dishes, you know, it gets all the fat and all the grease and dirt off of it. So in an effort to break down the fat in the milk, the soap caused all of the color to kind of spread out into different areas of the plate. So that is what happens, and you guys can still kind of see, even now, the colors are still moving around, like that reaction is still occurring in the plate. So I do have some discussion questions for you guys to be thinking about. One question is, what do you think would happen if we used some different types of soap with this experiment? If we used, this one, it's strictly antibacterial, but if we use a different soap, like if we use maybe a soap from the shower or something like that, do you think it would have a different effect? And also, my next question is, do you think it would be different if our plate was a different shape? Say if we had a square tray instead of a circular plate, do you think that the experiment would have looked any different? So those are some questions that you guys can think about, and we will be discussing them next week. All right, thanks guys. Have a good night.